All right, what's up, Dragon Brood? Today, Blake Rasmussen and Wizard of the Coast graced us with some Lord of the Rings, well, first look, as they called it, but they might have also shown us what's about to be the most expensive Magic card ever. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's kind of go over everything that they gave us, because there was quite a lot, and we're going to have to race through it. So starting out, we have Frodo, which kind of makes sense, key player in the whole story and all that good stuff, right? So this is a reasonable card, and this is a little bit more to a moderate playable level. It's a 1-2 for 1. It can turn into a 2-3 with lifelink fairly easy. And it has another upside, but don't know how powerful this is going to be. Now, I will say they did talk about the ring tempting you, but they weren't going to talk about what that entails. So we'll find out that probably in another month as we get to real preview season. But this card is closer to what I think people were expecting. That's like somewhat playable, but not insane. But we'll see. They did show us that all of the key players in the set will have basically 3 versions. So you get the promo version, the ring version, whatever they were calling it, the showcase ring treatment, and then there's also borderless other stuff. This one in particular was part of a set of 4 that also has a borderless scene that comes in the bundle promos. So you get 4 of these in a bundle, which is pretty cool, getting extra value out of the bundle. So that's just kind of a nice bonus. Obviously, there's going to be Samwise, and if you notice, this one isn't an uncommon. This one's actually pretty cool, though, because it could let you get a card back from the graveyard, well, a permanent, but that's actually pretty sweet, so this could actually see some play. It does have flash, happens to be a halfling peasant, so it doesn't really fit into too many things. It is a legend, which could matter, but they did say most of the characters are going to have more than one version. Some aren't going to have every rarity, just kind of depends on if it makes sense from a storytelling perspective. And again, all the different promo versions for Samwise, because, of course, and lands, which are pretty cool. No surprise the Shire happens to be a green land, because that makes sense. The weird thing about this is that it could actually let you make a food token every turn, which is cool. So you pay 2, tap this, and a creature, and you get to make a food token. Not sure how relevant that's going to be, but there are some formats where if you could keep producing an artifact or sacrificing an artifact regularly, you could get some actual triggers, which could be pretty cool. So this isn't bad, and it could possibly even come into play untapped and just taps for a green. Also, this is one where I'm favoring more the borderless version here. It's just really cool. Pseudo-realistic artwork painting style, but I don't know. I just prefer that one. Mount Doom. Of course, we're going to get Mount Doom. Not a surprise. This one's cool because you can get red or black, but it costs you a life. So, of course, it's Mount Doom. But then you can also deal 1 to each opponent, which is cool because it says each opponent, which meaning in Commander, you could hit multiple people. And then for 7 mana, it's like a creature sweeper on a stick, which is pretty crazy. So you can sacrifice Mount Doom and a legendary artifact, because, you got to throw something into Mount Doom. And then you choose 2 creatures, and you destroy the rest, which is pretty cool. Now, you do have to give up this card and an artifact, but that might be worth it. I mean, just to have a backup board sweeper at any time, that's kind of cool. No surprise there's Gollum. I would bet there's probably going to be at least 2 Gollums, because in the story you do see Gollum again toward the end, trying to get the ring before it goes into Mount Doom or whatever. So, possibly you see another Gollum, but this one's actually not bad. Could fit into some different strategies that you're trying to get a creature back, want extra sacrifice fodder, ETB triggers, that type of thing. Unfortunately, it's a halfling horror, so it doesn't really fit any popular deck types as from that perspective, but it's a neat card character-wise. And again, more promos, so you kind of get to see everything here again. I really do kind of like the style of the showcase ring treatments, though. Gandalf, which maybe if I remember, I'll link a video here that we talked about Gandalf yesterday, so I'm not going to go into details on that. Pause to read. Though I will say, this Gandalf showcase ring treatment is the only one I think I didn't like. Don't get me wrong, it still makes sense for the story and what's going on. I just felt like the others, I don't know, just felt a little more evocative to me for some reason, or were more representative. Where this one I felt like I sort of had to stare at the image and think about it a little bit and kind of understand what they were trying to show. But otherwise, still kind of cool. And I do like the fact that because it's 2 colors, it kind of got that split color treatment on it. Of course, you cannot pass, which, by the way, some people were complaining on the stream that this doesn't say you shall not pass, but if I'm not mistaken, the book actually says you cannot pass, and the shall not pass was a movie thing. So I don't know. People just want to get their underwear all in a bunch, but it is what it is. But this is actually an okay card. This is probably going to be more powerful in draft settings more than anything else, but destroy target creature that blocked or was blocked by a legendary creature this turn. So probably not so much for constructed play because there's just going to be better removal cards that are non-conditional, but kind of neat to include for those limited environments. Though Reprieve was an interesting card that they showed for a colorless and a white. It's an instant, you return target spell to its owner's hand, and then you draw a card. Basically, this is like Remand, but in white, which now means you could technically play 4 Remand and 4 Reprieve in some formats, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, this is an interesting power level card that could actually be added to several modern decks. Of course, there's Tom Bombadil, because if you read the stories, this is a pretty interesting character. On the stream, he did go on and on about like how there's internet theories on, who is Tom Bombadil? Like, is he a real hobbit? Is he a god? Is he whatever? Like, there's all kinds of different thoughts as to why the ring didn't affect him. But the card itself is actually pretty cool because it works with sagas. So as long as you have a bunch of counters on sagas, then he has hexproof and indestructible. And then when you have a saga complete, you can go find other sagas, which is pretty cool. So you kind of get a saga commander character, but maybe it works in constructed. I doubt it, because it'd be a little bit slow, but it is just a cool card to build around, so I don't mind seeing this thing exist. And there's a special ring treatment on that one as well. Here, they started talking about a couple of things that show up in the Commander product and not necessarily in the 60-card tournament viable product. But Sam, again, popular character, we knew was going to exist. Loyal Attendant, as colorless, green-white for a 2/4. Can be paired with Frodo, of course, because why wouldn't they? The crazy thing about this is, at the beginning of combat each turn, you just make a food token, and then you activate abilities of food you control for 1 less, which is pretty cool. Now, yes, that means you get to pay less to sacrifice your food tokens, but don't forget, there are actually some things that have come out that count as food in addition to being other things. So this could let you activate those for less. Now, are those things great and tend to be played a lot? Not particularly, but it is something to keep in mind. Radagast also gets a card here. Same thing in the Commander product. Just cool that it works with birds and beasts, gives other creatures ward. And then if you cast a big creature, you also get to make a small creature. So you play something that's 5 or greater, you also get to get a 3/3 beast or a 2/2 bird. Kind of a cool, flavorful card. Don't know how good it would be, but if you're playing some big creature Simic deck, maybe. Again, we talked about the One Ring as part of the previews of that other video I talked about earlier, so you can check that out. Nothing too crazy here. Just a generally playable card, I think. Don't know how good it is yet, though. The special treatments on this, so if you want to see all those, the Borderless Scene bundle promo. Also note that this is a mythic that is going to be available in the bundles as it sounds. So if you get all 4 cards in your bundle, this is actually pretty cool. Don't know if that was 100% accurate, but that's what it sounded like on the video. And this is what they look like all together without the artwork on them. So this is what you should get in your bundle. It's kind of cool. And this is where things get a little crazy. So they are doing a set of Sol Rings with all the different flavors. So the 3 for the elves, the 7 for the dwarves, and the 9 for the tribe of men, right? As the book tells it. The cool part is they're also going to make serialized versions of these. So there will be 300, 700, and 900 of each of these available to be found in packs as well. So that's actually pretty damn cool, like a really neat way to do this. But here's the breakdown. They're going to have 3,000 non-foil, non-serialized of the elf rings. There's going to be 300 double rainbow foil serialized. For the dwarves, there's going to be 7,000 non-foil, 700 serialized. For the soul ring, human soul rings, as they're calling them, 9,000 non-foil, 900 foil serialized. That's just a cool promotion. Like, these are going to be fun and exciting to open out of booster packs. Like these are the types of things I think it's really cool that they're doing. Because you should, like, these are still rare, searchable, collectible, not searchable, findable, collectible, which is great. And they don't necessarily bring down the price of old stuff or whatever anyway, because people play Commander, they're going to want Sol Rings. Now you can get these really cool, rare ones. So just kind of neat that these are a thing. And remember how I talked about they may be producing the most expensive Magic card ever? well, this might be it. If you wondered why that other artwork wasn't that impressive or the ring didn't have the writing on them, well, that's because this is the one ring. This is the same card that is the other 4 mana one that we showed earlier, so it's not mechanically unique in any way. However, this is one of one. That's not a mistake. You're seeing actual correct numbers on this card. This is going to be a Willy Wonka golden ticket, if you will, that who knows how much this is going to be worth. Like, this comes out of a pack, you get it graded. I mean, this could be 150k, 200k, like I don't know, like over 100 for sure. You're talking about having a one of one in a world with tons of reprints and large print runs and everything else. There's a few cards in the world that are one of ones and they're just never even on the market, so we don't even know what they go for. So this is virtually priceless if you open it up. But yeah, like this is just, I don't even know. Like, I kind of joked about it when I heard about the Lord of the Rings thing of like, how crazy would it be now that they're doing serialized cards if they would just make a one of one because it's the one ring. And then they went and did it. Like, you know, like awesome. So yeah, this is cool. I don't know what in the heck this is going to be worth, but somebody's going to be real happy. And if you want to see all the lands with the Middle Earth map pieces, here you go. Kind of cool. They did say don't try to piece them together. They don't make one full picture because they're all just very clipped parts of the map to make sense. But yeah, still cool anyway. And then there will be box toppers for the set. In this case, there's going to be some reprints that are going to be in these. This is the party tree, which is basically the Great Hinge, which is awesome because the Great Hinge, I think, has gotten back to like $60 or something. So it needed a reprint. This isn't going to hammer that price real hard, but at least brings it under control and some people can get this without having to spend $50, $60. So this is really cool, though, that that's a thing. Also, Ensnaring Bridge, because it's the Bridge of Khazad-dûm, so kind of makes sense. And Wasteland, Valley of Gorgoroth. By the way, these are not going to be modern legal. They are just going to be box toppers for this set. So if you buy a box, you'll get one of these inside of your box. One of these selection of cards. These aren't the only ones. There will be others as well that they're going to preview later. But you just get them. Cool reprints. If they're already modern legal, you'll be able to play with them. But if they're not, they don't magically get added to modern. If you do buy a full box, there will be a buy a box promo, which is basically Trailblazer's boots, done as Lorien Brooch, and gives you your creature non-basic land walk, equips for 2. If you've seen these on other versions, it's a nice inclusion. It's not a crazy expensive card, but it's a nice little addition. And then there is going to be a starter kit for this set that uses Lord of the Rings. The 2 face cards, if you want to call them that, are Aragorn and Arwen Wed, and Sauron the Lidless Eye. So, cool cards to have if you're Lord of the Rings fans and you're picking this up. These are all characters that people will know, so that's actually pretty cool. But yeah, let's talk about this whole serialized thing. Like, this is really, really interesting because I think we get in this space where people want a lot of things reprinted so that stuff doesn't get crazy expensive because they want accessibility for the game, and that makes total sense. But at the same time, people want to be able to buy things or be motivated to buy things that aren't going to magically be worth pennies after they get it, right? And they want their stuff to have some type of value in some point in the future where they want to sell or trade or they quit playing and they want there to be something there. This is kind of the way we can do that. And having serialized versions of all those Sol Rings is a neat idea because it's thematically flavorful, but also people like having Sol Rings. You can have probably 10 different versions of Sol Rings and people will continue to be happy, right? There's people out here with 20, 30 commander decks that have a Sol Ring in every one of them. But also getting a serialized version of a Sol Ring is really cool, especially like this with the Elvish writing and all that other stuff. Like, that's actually pretty cool. So I don't mind them doing this. Similar to how they did the Hidetsugu recently, how they did the serialized cards for Dominaria United, I believe it was. I'm good with all that, right? Those are cards that will hold their value for a long while to come, and people don't have to feel bad chasing them down. It's cool for collectors and completists that just want something to do. Like, this is a neat idea. And we got to see some cards that are slowly starting to turn the knob a little bit on, okay, these can be modern playable. Now, they did say that they did not want to push as hard as they did on the previous 2 Modern Horizons set, because they know how that ended up and all the complaints that came with it, right? People were not happy. But they did want this to be a, if I believe in Blake's words, a love letter to the Tolkien Lord of the Rings fans. And that makes a lot of sense, because a lot of stuff was very flavorful. So you could tell there was some thought put into that. But I will say, we started to see a few cards today that could make some way in Modern, depending on what decks they fit into. But the good news is, you're probably going to get more cards that fit existing decks, or maybe give a little value to some cards that are underrepresented, or decks that are underrepresented, more than just, hey, you have to play these new cards and build decks around them, which is closer to what I think Modern players wanted. And obviously, there's already going to be a bunch of good stuff and reprints for people who just play Casual or Commander. But yeah, let me know what you think. Well, I don't know how you felt about all these previews and everything else, but man, there's a lot to talk about and a lot going on. And if you just want to see how crazy it is to do 3 years of Magic Arena, check out this video.